afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Power Lunch Live. My name is Andrea. I'm the founder of Altitude Connections. Every last Friday of the month, we showcase a business or an entrepreneur. Today, we will be interviewing Luigi Iafrancesco. I love pronouncing your name.
It's a pleasure to be here, Andrea.
A little bio about Luigi. Luigi has extensive experience in the finance world, including 5 years as a chartered professional accountant and 7 years in banking as a mortgage specialist. He holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from Concordia University's John Molson School of Business. In addition to his CPA title, he has an extensive knowledge in financing luxury and investment properties. Due to his background and his knowledge of personal finance, he has been able to add consistently added value to clients seeking financing, particularly those who are self-employed.
Yes.
As a mortgage broker, his main goal is to assist consumers with their financial projects and to ensure a smooth transaction by providing an excellent customer care for each step of the way. Luigi, welcome, our mortgage specialist.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to ask you a few questions just to, I'm sure people are intrigued, and so am I. I read a little bit about your bio, and I've known you for quite some time, which is great. So how did you get into mortgage?
It was actually an accident. So prior to working in mortgages, I was an accountant for CN back in the day. And I had a little side hustle where I would do a little side job where I would do corporate income taxes, personal income taxes, and bookkeeping for small companies. So during tax season, I decided to rent a small office for March and April during the peak of tax season. Okay. And I went on Kijiji and I saw that there was this office available. It so happened that the office I was renting belonged to a mortgage broker.
Okay.
So as I started there, I started hearing the conversations that he had with his clients. I got to talk to him a bit more. And I realized that I enjoy what this guy is doing a lot more than what I'm actually doing.
Oh.
So at that point, he was always asking me, he's like, Luigi, you're an accountant. Why don't you go get your mortgage broker's license? I'm not sure. And it finally got to a point where I decided to go get my mortgage broker's license. And then after that, as I graduated, I started looking at where I wanted to go. So I had a discussion with a family member, with my godfather, and he knew somebody at National Bank. And he got me in contact with the hiring manager at National Bank. But this is the funny part. So what happened was I applied for a job at National. I had the hiring manager give me a call. He goes, okay, Luigi, your interview is next week. Perfect. Can't wait to meet you. And then the day after, 2 days after this, I got an email from the system saying that, Luigi, thank you for your candidacy. However, we've chosen to go another direction. Well, okay, that's weird. He asked me for an interview, and then I get this email. Okay, whatever. So then I started applying to other banks, and then there's another position that came up at National Bank, but in another region. So let me apply again. And then the same hiring manager calls me back. Goes, but are you going to come to this interview or not? I'm like, I thought I didn't get the job. You told me to come for an interview, and then I got an email to stay home. I was no, come for the interview. It was a misunderstanding. Come for the interview, and from there on, I had the opportunity to work for Stan and then Angela, and it was an amazing opportunity to work at the National Bank for many, many years. And after 7 years, I decided it was time to do a switch. So that's where I'm at now. I'm independent with the Orbis Group, and loving it so far.
Oh, that's great. But you see, it was meant to happen. It was meant to be.
Yeah, so we had a few hurdles, but one way or another, I ended up in mortgages, and it's 7 years now, and I absolutely love it.
That's amazing. Well, that's the best part about us working, right, is to do what we love best. Yeah. And
don't get me wrong. There are some days where, there's some good days and some bad days. That's why I'm bald.
Of course.
But
there's downs, there's struggles. Yeah. We learn from them as well. It's absolutely normal. But in general, I know you, I see you enjoy what you're doing.
I know. I know.
Great. And what do you do? What's your favorite thing about your job?
My favorite thing about my job is essentially meeting different clients from different backgrounds and different scenarios altogether. It could be from somebody buying their first home, or it could be basically an investor buying a multi-res or a commercial property, or even small business owners that are buying commercial properties for their own use. So it could be, that's a nice thing. We're meeting people from different backgrounds, and it's never a dull moment because there's always a different situation, and that's what keeps me intrigued, and that's why I've been in the business for 7 years and still going.
That's right. That's right. And you had a big switch lately, right? Well, not too lately, but
Yes.
recently.
Well, as of December, well, the end of December, January, essentially, yes, I did go from the bank to independent.
Okay.
However, like that was a choice. Instead of having the products from one financial institution, now we offer 46, 48. We work with 46 to 48 different financial institutions. So having that flexibility for my clients is something that is an added value and to the services that we give. And we also have a team. I developed a team now, and the members of my team are amazing people. They're hungry. They want to learn, and I'm very, very grateful to have that on my side as well.
That's amazing. That's nice. Now, did you forecast? Is this something what you wanted to do? Is to go on your own?
Well, it's been in the works for many, many years, and some of my close friends will tell you, Luigi, what are we going to switch on? Yeah, next year, next year. So I came to a certain, it came to a certain point, like, listen, you just have to make the jump at that point
That's
and
true.
just hope for the best. I have been in the industry for 7 years, so when it comes to mortgages, I do know what I'm talking about. It was a kind of a switch, getting to know the different products from the different lenders, and even that is a learning process every day. And now having the team as well, that's something that's different as well, and I'm loving it. So a lot of changes in the last few months, but all good things.
That's great. Well, sometimes we have to take the leap, right?
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a choice.
That's wonderful. So we all know there's different types of mortgages, but which one is it? Well, how many is there? Can I ask that question? And
Well,
what do
there's
you do best?
there's fixed mortgages, there's variable mortgages, but the different when it comes to the different types of lenders, there's essentially the traditional lenders, which are the main banks, and they have certain products. And then after that, you have the B lenders that essentially the norms don't fall within the traditional A lender banks. So there's B lenders that are banks as well, or financial institutions that will give loans but at a bit of a higher rate. And then if it doesn't work with the B lenders, we have the private lenders. The private lenders, it can be institutions, or it could be Monsieur, Madame, Tout le monde, that they have a certain amount of money that they want to invest in a particular project. So having the flexibility to go through the different options, that's why I decided to go independent, essentially.
Okay. So, but you and your whole team offers the same ones.
We also offer the same products.
You all offer the same products. I see. That's great. And you're, well, I shouldn't say you're one of the few, but you are very particular with the way you brand yourself. I'm trying to find the right word. I like the way you brand yourself, the social media you do, and the marketing strategies. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Like, how do you get creative? I mean, you are a mortgage broker at the end of the day, and you need to be a little creative, right, to attract customers and people.
Well, the thing with mortgages, it's not exactly I guess, the most exciting topic to speak about. So it's to think about out of the box, and that's what I strive to do. And everything I've done, even in my early career as an accountant, and imagine accounting again, not the sexiest topic to talk about, right?
Well, I tried to find the right word, so yeah.
However, like from when I was young in my career, I was always taught to think outside of the box, do things differently, and with the type of personality that I am very somebody that's outgoing. I like to do different things. I don't like to go mainstream. So even when coming out with content, I try to think of what are funny things, but at the same time relevant as well. So you always want to be professional. However, if I could add a bit of humor in there, or something that's really going to catch the eye of the audience, that's what I strive for. Because at the end of the day, the whole reason for doing these videos is to make sure that people watch them. So if your content sucks, excuse my lack of for lack of a better word, but if the content sucks, nobody's going to watch it, right? So it's to come up with creative ideas like that.
I love it. It's great. It's creative. It's different. I also have seen you've been interviewing. Is that you interview clients, or you showcase them, or are you helping them in, well, obviously in their mortgages too? But do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So basically, like you're doing, which is an amazing initiative, by the way, Andrea. It's different entrepreneurs. It could be real estate professionals. It could be lawyers, notaries, inspectors. We're working on different things.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of this is that I only have a certain amount of expertise in mortgages. However, I do have a vast network of professionals that I work with that have expertise in other industries as well. So the benefit of that is that if we can give the audience the information that they need, essentially that's the whole point of doing all these videos at the end of the day.
Right, and it's great. It's thinking out of the box, right? Which is wonderful.
Well, it's about giving content that is beneficial to the audience, but at the same time making it fun. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I have like a 5-minute attention span. After 5 minutes, if it's not interesting, give me a pillow. I'm fast asleep. So that's how I am personally.
No, you're right, but I think we're all like that. So you're heading the right way. So, tell us a little bit about you. What are your hobbies?
So I'm a big Formula One fan. Big Formula One fan.
Yeah, that's right.
So is my brother-in-law, and my little brother Frankie picked it up as well. But we're huge fans of that. Sports, soccer, hockey. Ever since I was a kid, I was involved in both. I kind of picked up tennis, starting to get it.
Good.
Golf, I'm an amateur, and it depends on the day. Sometimes I'm decent, and sometimes I'm really bad. And the guys I play with are normally very good, so they know who they are. Guys, thank you very much for tolerating me on the golf course. But it's a learning process, right? It's a learning process, so I'm having fun with that.
That's great, but at least you're trying. Why
Yeah.
not? Well, we've been talking a lot about mental health this year. And that's the reason why I asked you, what are your hobbies, and do you take some time off?
We don't have a choice. So in doing these hobbies, I spend a lot of time with my family, my friends, and with the type of business that we're in, it's 24/7. I get calls on Saturday night, sometimes at 10, 11 o'clock, and it's up to you as the entrepreneur to say, okay, look, this call can be important, but your health is a lot more important.
Mm-hmm.
So it's knowing like, when is it something that could wait? If somebody's calling me for a pre-authorization at 11 o'clock for a purchase in 6 months from now, respectfully, I'll answer on Monday morning.
Okay.
However, if it's something 911, they have to go to their notary tomorrow. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll pick up the phone. That's the type of individual I am, but it's just basically knowing what your limits are, and when you're mentally drained, just to take a step back. And that's where I'm very thankful for my family and my friends and the people I have around me that understand that. I tell them sometimes, like, guys, I love you. I want to see other people. Like, I want to see friends. I want to see whatever it is, but I need 1 or 2 days to just mentally disconnect. And my partner understands that how I am, and she's very supportive of that as well. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But that's what it is: just knowing your limits and knowing when to take a step back and just disconnecting, because or else it gets bad from there.
It does. So it's okay to set boundaries. That's what you're saying.
Andrea, we don't have a choice. You can go, and I've done it before. I've worked like 80-hour weeks for 2-3 months, and things were rolling. But then I got to a point where my mental health was finished, and then I just hit like a brick wall. And honestly, that's what happened to me in the point last year. And then I went on travels left, right, and center. But we're human, right? We think we're machines, but we're not. So the only thing we can do is do our best and realize within ourselves when we reach a certain limit, just take a step back, disconnect, spend time with family and friends, and just try to get your batteries recharged like this. You're ready to go for another week or 2 weeks or whatever it may be.
That's right. That's great. maybe I should implement that too. But anyhow, it's about you today. um, what did I want to ask you? The next question was, do you have any tips, or do you, sorry, for mortgage, I mean, do you have any tips, or do you offer consultation?
Of course, that's where our basically bread and butter, and that's the difference between us and going to just any institution directly is that we give this. Well, even though the institution will give service, everybody in our business has to give service, but that's a big part of it, right? So when a client calls me and starts asking, "What's your lowest rate?" I know that they're not more into the service part and they're more into the interest rate part, which we do have competitive rates. However, it won't always be the lowest. How we differentiate ourselves, honestly, is the consultation and the service. And having 7 years of mortgage experience, it's all about thinking outside of the box, right? And I do that with everything in my life, regardless of personal or professional. It's always thinking about out of the box solutions, and that's what we provide to our clients.
Okay. All right. So if people wanted to reach out to you, it's fine by email or by social media.
By social media, it would be a pleasure. I normally set up a meeting, a quick phone call, 5 or 10 minutes, just to get a better understanding, because emails back and forth are not efficient. So just quick understanding, and then once the initial contact is done, then we do everything by email or Zoom or whatever the client's preferences are.
Okay, so you would say the consultation would be by Zoom. It would be better than sending back emails back and forth, right?
It depends. So the initial, it would be a phone call, 5 or 10 minutes, just to get an idea of their project and manage expectations as well. Days, rates, whatever. And then after that, the rest can be done via email. And then at the end, normally once the mortgage is approved or before it's about to be approved, we'd usually do a Zoom call just to go over the information of the mortgage.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I'm sure. And you meet people like in person, or it's all virtual?
I'll be honest, 99% of the people I've done Zoom over the last 2 years, just because, not because I don't want to meet people. I love meeting people. You can ask my partner, you can ask my family. I'm very sociable. Well, I'm very sociable, right? It's not that. It's just in regards to time efficiency. The more efficient we are, the more clients we can help. So that's the only reason why we tend to do on Zoom. But even for the clients as well, instead of coming to my office during rush hour at 5:30, and then you have the kids screaming and in the middle of downtown, you click on Zoom. 5-10 minutes. We have our discussion, and then after that we go back to our lives. So it's a lot more efficient to that point.
No, you're right. So virtual meetings has been very beneficial for you.
Yes, it has.
Okay, that's great. And do you want to tell us about your next steps or your goal for the next few years coming up?
So essentially right now we did build a team, and we're just trying to get the team up and running. But I do want to expand eventually into the rest of Canada. I'm in the process of getting my mortgage license in Ontario, and also in Florida as well. I did basically do the exams. Now I just have to do the final exam with the state. So my goal essentially is to be able to provide financing anywhere in the United States or in Canada. Now it's going to be a 5-year project. That's where we're headed towards. But it's just to provide financing solutions for our clients and expand the team at the same time.
Oh, that's great. Oh, especially in the States, because I know the license you have here is just for Quebec, correct?
Exactly. It's only for Quebec. We are able to do files outside of the province, but we cannot solicit outside of the province. So, for example, I can't put Luigi mortgage banner in Ontario. Not yet, anyways. We'll see. Maybe in the next few weeks. But however, if a client from basically, we just did a file in Calgary, calls me, a client from Montreal, and goes, Luigi, yes, we can do files. We can essentially, through our network, have the file done, but essentially I'm not allowed to solicit outside of Quebec.
I see. Okay. No. So that brings you back to more studies.
More studies, but it's okay. Look, I'm an accountant.
The more we know, the better, right?
I'm a CPA. I'm used to studying. I'm used to opening up the books. I'm a crazy CPA, but I'm a CPA nonetheless.
Yeah, no, we know. That's great. Okay, So before we wrap up, because it's a power lunch, did you have any last tips to share with real estate agents or with clients? Who's your target? That's who I didn't know.
Who do we target?
Yes.
So basically, we do a work to provide solutions that are out of the box, right? We have access to B lenders, private lenders, and since I do have a CPA background, I'm very good at understanding and reading financial statements. I had financial statements in my dreams for many, many years. So trust me, I can read them inside out. But that's essentially our niche. But having said that, we do work a lot with first-time home buyers. I remember when it was my first purchase, and I was already in the industry, right? I was always a mortgage specialist. And even at that, I was still very nervous about my first purchase. And I did about 150,000 a year at that point, right? So when we do get first-time home buyers, even though I do specialize more in investments, at a certain point, I was specializing in first-time home buyers, and I've done it myself. And it brings me back to when I had to go through my first purchase. And so I understand when people ask, there aren't too many questions. It's one of the biggest purchases you're going to make in your life. So it's only normal you're going to ask.
Well, they're nervous too, right? So you have to deal with that.
Andrea, just to relate, I knew what I was doing in mortgage. I used to know 150,000 at that point, and I was still nervous about my first purchase. So I can't imagine somebody that doesn't have mortgage experience. So that's how I can relate with them. And when they say, Luigi, we have guys, it's not a problem at all. It's actually a pleasure to assist you. And those are clients. If you do a good service, those are clients that you're gonna have for the rest of their lives, for their 25 years, refinancing, purchasing a chalet, investment property, and a lot of my clientele. It's not a one-time deal. It's usually clients that buy 3 or 4 properties or buy this, refinance that, and that's why I'm fortunate to have the clientele that I have over the last 7 years.
That's right. You are fortunate about that, and it's great, and it's all by referral too. You have a nice reputable name. You're very respectful, and you really take the time to explain to the client, all the financials. So that's great. Keep up the good job.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you again for inviting me. It's been a blast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And on a small note, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. It was short, sweet. That's what the Power Lunch Lives are all about.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.